Hello everyone, Empowered Napoleon here, and this is gonna be a little bit of well, it's quite an exciting thing. This is basically like the draft analysis and announcement of IPA Season 8. I was in the Minun roster in Season 7 as a replacement for someone who dropped out because of inactivity, and then now I'm in Minun roster because I didn't do that well, and I didn't record it because I didn't have access to recording software at the time. But now I figured out OBS, so that will be functionable for this. Anyway, so I'm in Minun roster now, which is the bottom roster of the league, with 15 other coaches. I don't know my division or schedule yet, so I can't really say who's gonna be in my division. But anyway, just getting into it. I think I was 10th overall in the draft. I don't really remember. But I decided to get Megalopony as my first pick. I've never recorded a league where I had Megalopony in it, but I really like the Pokemon and I've used it quite a bit in leagues I didn't upload. And honestly, like, I just love the Pokemon. It's really good because normal and fighting with Scrappy just has perfect neutral coverage. It hits everything, even ghost types, except for like, it hits stuff like Cofagrigus once and then just can't hit it anymore. But there are ways for it to beat Cofagrigus, like Subtoxic Drain Punch and stuff like that. But it's a really nice Pokemon to build around, I think, because of the base 135 speed, and its attack is monstrous at base 136, which I think is slightly higher than Gallade, Mega Gallade, I think. No, it's not. It's slightly lower than Mega Gallade, but it's significantly faster, which is really nice. And its bulk is actually pretty alright, with 94 and 96 in its defenses. The only thing that really holds it down defensively is that base 65 HP, which is not amazing, but, you know, it can take a hit or two without too much investment. So then, I waited my time for my second pick, and I was talking with one of my friends that's in the Gear division. His the name that he goes by is Veno, but he helped me make most of this draft, so I'm really glad that he was willing to help me because I really had very little idea on how to draft around Megalopony this time. So this is the first time I've ever used this Pokemon in draft format, and that is Zapdos. Now, I don't really know what I can say about Zapdos that hasn't already been said multiple times. It's just really good. Its special attack is amazing. Its defenses and HP are pretty good. Its speed tier is pretty alright at base 100. Even its physical attack is not that bad at base 90, which is the same as its Spadaf. And it gets Defog, it gets Roost, it gets Thunder Wave, it gets Toxic, it gets Discharge, it gets a lot of good moves. It gets Heat Wave for Steel types. The only problem is that it gets no good special flying moves. But it's fine because it has stuff like U-turn. It has both U-turn and Volt Switch, which was nice to have because it's like a Volt Switch core in one Mon, which is something that I really love. So then these two were a pretty good thing to build off of, I think. And so the first thing that I thought about was with the help of Veno, the idea that I had with pairing these two was to also pair it with Suicune. Suicune is just honestly amazing. It gets pressure to just help stall out Pokemons that you can't just beat. And with base 100 HP, it's amazing. And then base 115 in both defenses, it's probably one of the bulkiest bulky waters in League format. Discluding stuff like Milotic because its Fizdef isn't that good without the Marvel Scale boost. But anyway, so with this core of 3, I didn't really feel like Steel types were a problem. So I decided to go ahead and get my Fairy and a Wish Passer in Florges. Florges is also another defogger. And it can be really, really hard to put down. Like, its Fizdef isn't that good at base 68, but that's what Suicune's for. Physical steel hits that pressure Florges a lot can be eaten easily by Suicune. Whereas Suicune, its recovery is rest. So I don't really want to have to run that every week. I don't want to have to run like Resto Chesto or Rest Talk every week. So Florges can pass wishes into it. Sorry about that. Anyway, its abilities aren't really that good in singles. Like its abilities are basically useless in singles. Sorry if I'm tripping over my words a lot. I have not recorded in a long time. Anyway, but like the main thing that it really has is the HP for wish passing and the base 154 Spadef, which is massive. And it's so amazing. And in case you guys didn't already know, IPA is a points-based draft. So Lopunny was like 16 points. Zapdos was 14. I think Suicune and Florges were 10 or 9? 9 or 10? I think it was 10 for both. 10 for each of them. And then I think my Dragon was 9 points. Not entirely sure. I'll probably have to check later. But, yeah, I don't care. Anyway, thing is though, like, Florges can even run a Scarf set if it really needs to. Because, like, base 75 is actually not that bad for a Scarfer. And, like, base 112 special attack is really good. On top of Stab Moon Blast, which is very hard to switch into. And, another thing I forgot to mention. IPA doesn't have Z captains. Oh, sorry about that. IPA doesn't have Z captains. It doesn't have Z points. It doesn't make you draft a Z crystal, which I love. I love leagues that don't make you choose Z captains. Like, designate certain Pokemon or certain types of Z moves that you would be able to use. And, so yeah. So like, if I wanted to, I could run Electrium Z on my Zapdos, or Fairyum Z on my Florges, or Waterium Z on my Suicune, even though I'll probably never do that. Or like, Rockium Z on, like Lycanium Z on my Lycanroc, or Rockium Z on my Lycanroc, or Groundium Z on my Lycanroc, it's just lots of stuff. Grassium Z, Ghostium Z, all types of stuff. So, my cores were starting to shape up really nicely, and I wanted to go ahead and get my Steel type. So I got Metagross. Metagross gives me a bulky Steel type, it gives me a physical Steel type, it gives me a priority user, other than Lopunny. It gives me a pretty good AV user, it gives me a Pokemon that really likes Resist Berries and Wish Passing, which Florges can provide for it. It's really good on the Fizdef side, with base 80 HP and base 130 Fizdef, to complement Florges having similar amount of HP and then pretty bad Fizdef, but really good Spadef. So they really play off of each other really well, I think. And like Metagross, is a mon. Is a mon that can just destroy someone if they don't prep for it right, which I really like having. Because stuff like Lopunny can clean up late game if they don't keep their checks to it alive. Because it's a Mega Lopunny. Of course they're going to prepare for it. They're always going to prepare for it. Nobody's going to ignore a Mega Lopunny. So anyway, after Metagross, I decided to wait a little longer to get my dragon just to see like what's getting taken. So I got my Rapid Spinner, Spin Blocker, and Grass type all in one with the Helmus. There's not really much to say about the Helmus. It's just good at what it does. Well, you know, it's slow, so it could work in Trick Room, but I don't really have Trick Room setters. I think. I don't know if Metagross gets Trick Room. Does it? It doesn't. So anyway, the Helmus is just really strong in physical attack. It's pretty bulky in physical defense. I'm probably going to be using it more as like an offensive spinner rather than a like a defensive one like most people do. I might run it like AV a couple times. I might not. I don't know. But like it's not really pressured to be defensive when I have stuff like Zapdos that can be defensive, Suicune that can be defensive, Florges that can be defensive, Metagross that can be defensive, heck even Incineroar to be defensive or just intimidate support. But anyway, it's really good because like it has Steelworker on top of Anchor Shot, which basically gives it stat bonus on Steel type moves without making it 4 times weak to Fire by being part Grass type or part Steel type. Sorry. It gets Power Whip, it gets Shadow Claw. It's just like really strong, and I really, really like the Helmus, especially on this draft. So then I decided, you know, I have a lot of good removal options, I think, so far. 2 Defoggers and a Spinner. So, and like my only rock weakness right now is Zapdos, while having Lopunny and Metagross, especially Metagross, to resist rock hits. So I decided to get a Dragon and an Ice type in one with Kyurem. Kyurem is just simple. It's really, really simple. There's not much to say about it. It's just an amazing dragon and an amazing ice type mon. Most of the time, it's gonna be special with like special specs, special scarf. It could even be physical scarf or choice banded if it wants to, but its ice type physical move pool is really sorry. Its physical move pool is like non-existent for ice type moves, which is why people don't run it physical. Like it gets Iron Head and Outrage, which are really good, but it doesn't get it doesn't get Ice Punch, it doesn't get Ice Fang, it doesn't get any ice type moves that other than like Ice Beam, Blizzard, and like special ice type moves. That's the only stuff that it really has access to as far as ice typing. But it's really nice. It has base 130 in both attacks, base 90 in both defenses, and a massive base 125 HP in combo with Roost and Substitute and Toxic. Like, it can be extremely annoying to face if you're not prepared for it right. So, I kind of hinted towards it. I kind of showed it earlier, but, my next pick was Incineroar. I wanted a bulky dark type since psychic types were kind of a problem against my team if they were able to carry Shadow Ball. Like Espeon or Alakazam. Because like, Alakazam would also have Energy Ball for Suicune. So I got Incineroar, and sure, like Espeon and Alakazam also get Focus Blast, but those aren't reliable ways to kill them on, I think, since there's 70% accuracy. But yeah. Incineroar is just a nice mon. It used to be completely useless when its only ability was Blaze, but now it also has Intimidate as its hidden ability, which is amazing. It makes it so much better. I don't know why I'm yawning a lot. Anyway, it could just be like one of those mons that can just slap onto a team with like a choice band or a choice specs or an assault vest and just have it be amazing with like U-turn and Flare Blitz and Fire Blast and Darkest Lariat, stuff like that. It can be an offensive pressure while also being a defensive utility, which I love. So then I decided that I think I have like plenty of bulk by now, and I wanted to focus more on like dedicated offensive mons. So I started that trend with Lycanroc Midday. Lycanroc Midday, well, it's not Lycanroc Dusk. I think it's okay. Like, it's slightly weaker than Lycanroc Dusk, but it's not that. It's not bad by any means. It still gets a Cell Rock. It gets every move that Lycanroc Dusk gets. It just doesn't have that 2-point boost in attack, that 2-point nerf in speed and tough claws. It doesn't have those. So it's base 112 speed, which is really handy since it outspeeds base 110s and it outspeeds base 111s like Thundurus Incarnate, which is really handy. And with the way that IPA handles things, like as far as Z moves, I can run Z moves on Lycanroc or like any other Pokemon that I have, and they won't know until that Z move comes out, basically, which is amazing to have in prep. Some people think it's overpowered. I can see why they would think that, but I don't think it's that overpowered when everyone has access to it. You know, everyone has access to that mystery behind it. So anyway, next Pokemon I got was Chatot, simply because it's a strong Boom Burst user that can just carry a Choice Specs or a Choice Scarf, and it has like it was only like 3 points, so it wasn't that much off of my points total because we got like 100 points to draft 8 to 12 pawns. So anyway, it's just Chatot basically. You know, it's not bulky, it's not physically offensive, it's not good except for being somewhat fast and somewhat strong with Boom Burst and Chatter. And I think Heat Wave. Yeah, Heat Wave. It also gets Defog, which is cool, and Nasty Plot. And then my last Pokemon was Crocodile. And here's the thing. I could have gotten one more Pokemon here and like spent my last 3 points on it. But I decided to just keep those left over for later use. So I got Crocodile because it was 1 point, and it gives me an offensive Dragon Dance user, and an offensive Water type, and a good Sheer Force user. I really think Crocodile is underrated in draft format, not just in low tier leagues where it really shines. Like that's definitely where it would be best. But like, I really love Crocodile because like, it's just so fun to use. It's like a mini Feraligatr for like 9 less points than Feraligatr. Like its attack is kind of close to Feraligatr's. It's not good, but it's not bad either. And for 1 point, it's actually a really good bargain, I think. But anyway, that's my IPA Season 8 Minun roster draft. I hope you all enjoyed this video, and if you did, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for new videos every so often, probably every week, with Minun matches. So see you all then.